Thank you for joining us today for Cape Chronicle. I'm Mike RENICK. Like every Cape Chronicle show, we hope you learn something new and get to know the people behind the scenes serving the community. Today, we're covering everything from art to adventure to advocating for victims of domestic abuse. That's all ahead on Cape Chronicle.
It's going to be hard work, but you've never let that stop you. At Southeast Missouri State, we put that will to do to work for you. You won't just learn in lectures. You'll get your hands dirty, your skills strengthened, and whatever you do, you won't be going it alone. You can do this because you earn everything you get, and what you'll earn here will pay off out there.
Welcome to Cape Chronicle. I'm Mike RENICK. Before we begin, please remember that we are following CDC pandemic guidelines to keep our guests and crews safe. So let's get to it. We have Paris Newson, co-owner of 20 North Pacific, one of Cape's latest art galleries offering event space, workshops, and an overall platform to promote Black and urban art and culture. Paris, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Very nice to meet you and very nice to see you.
Super duper, you too, Mike.
So we're June. We were just talking. June is when the gallery opened up.
Yep.
What do we find when we walk into to 20 North?
Some of everything. 20 North Pacific was designed to really speak to the underrepresented around here. I'm from Memphis originally. My wife, other co-owner, she's from New Madrid. So we're here in Cape, just knowing that there needs to be somewhere for you to see something different. So our very first show, we had Malcolm McRae, the one and only. He actually did a exploration on the roots of slavery here in Cape Girardeau. That was our very first show. And then we've had photo exhibits. We host markets that we call the Black Exchange. It's an opportunity for Black vendors and those without official business licenses and things like that, just to have the opportunity to have a vendor platform. We have live music. We do paint nights, workshops, all sort of odd, random classes. So just some of everything.
So very busy, obviously.
Ooh, COVID busy, sure, so not very busy. We closed for a while when the COVID numbers got a little out of hand, so we just wanted to keep everyone safe. But we do still rent the place for intimate events.
So I saw on your website, art, events, workshops. So if someone wants to have an event, your facility is available.
Absolutely. It's a cool place. It's a little different. There's a lot of cool colors. There's always a vibe. There's always a vibe there. We set the smell for either lights, what's hanging, just depends on what you need. But yeah, for your smaller parties, less than 30, we're available for that.
And workshops, they at various times, or are those kind of a constant type of thing happening?
Yeah, we kind of do things sporadically, especially right now with us not having been open per se, but we will be officially reopening next month in April. So April going forward, we'll keep a regular calendar of our classes, workshops, and rotating First Friday exhibits.
You mentioned the history of this area.
Yeah.
Obviously, art has the ability to replicate that to a certain degree, and that seems to be one of the main things that you find at your gallery.
Absolutely, art is healing. And if we can use art to explore not only history and where we've been, but where we're going and how to push ahead, art was the perfect way to do that.
Do you have an art background yourself, or just?
I mean, sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
I paint.
Yeah.
Because
I was gonna say, so is any of your artwork on display?
On display, sure. I got a couple pieces scattered here and there, but I don't take much credit for that. We we are there to uplift the artists around here that felt like they had nowhere to show. So we wanted to create a space where everyone would have the opportunity to be in a professional gallery show.
Sounds like a very unique space for this area.
It is definitely a unique space. We literally handcrafted it with love. Mostly my wife, Jay, and I. The community helped out a bunch. Once we finally kind of branched out and people started to notice that we get a lot of community involvement now as well. And
you mentioned, so it's a grand reopening in April. Any other events planned beyond that at this point?
Yeah, we're working right now to revamp our Juneteenth celebration.
Okay.
That was actually one of the very first big things we did here in Cape. We wanted to make Juneteenth a big deal here. A lot of people aren't aware of Juneteenth, especially as a holiday and a cultural celebration. So we wanted to invite everyone in Cape to really take advantage of that. We have a lot of big ideas of things to bring here to Cape, so I won't spill all my secrets. That's what keeps
not going to let everything out of the bag right now?
Nope. But a regular schedule of workshops, paint classes, things like that. We offer intimate date nights where we'll set just you up or just a couple of couples here and there. We also celebrate wellness arts at our place too. So we have fitness classes, things like that. Culinary arts, you'll get to see workshops that teach you about nutrition and things like that.
You kind of mentioned something. I think I saw you talk about the importance of art. You mentioned the healing process, and obviously, in these COVID times, a lot of mental stress, mental anxiety, and art being such a great release for those those types of emotions and things that we're potentially working through.
Absolutely. So the newest gym in town, Be Chosen Academy, we work very, very closely with Kwaku over at the gym. One of the most fun things we've done, we actually created a healing boxing class. So we had just a group of ladies, we sat, we did some art, we wrote out our fears, we wrote out what we're angry with, we wrote out what we're fighting with. It's a boxing gym. So we taped up our pictures to the bags and we just let it all have it. Then we sat, we shared, we cried, and we used art just to come together in a moment, just a bunch of different people.
Probably a way that people would never think that art could be used.
Absolutely not.
Very unique way to take art and to heal.
Yeah, that's really our approach to it. The number 20 in itself, for numerology, represents coexistence and teamwork in a very effective way. So that's exactly what we were looking to do. We have to use each other. We have to use our outlets, our resources, our own platforms to lift each other up, especially right now.
So we are running out of time, but the best way to find you guys and get a hold of you for any questions?
Absolutely. Follow us on Facebook, 20 North Pacific. You can find us on Instagram, 20 North Pacific, and 20northpacific.com. That's 20npacific.com.
And grand reopening coming in April and more things to follow.
Absolutely. First week in April, you can check us out First Friday. We'll be featuring Michael T., as we all know him, the director of Discovery Playhouse.
Fantastic.
It'll actually be his art debut.
All right, Paris, so nice to meet you and
Very
good
nice
luck.
to meet you. You too, Mike. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Been talking with 2 North's Paris Newson. And again, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we'll talk with Jessica Hill of Safe House for Women. That's next on Cape Chronicle.
It's a miracle that springs forth to feed us, to clothe us, to bring us joy. A miracle prompted by rain and warmed by the sun. But few realize without healthy soil below ground, there would be little life above it. Learn more about this miracle under our feet and how we're working with farmers and ranchers to unlock the secrets in the soil.
Welcome back to Cape Chronicle. I'm Mike Rennick. The Safe House for Women is a nonprofit agency that provides safe shelter and support services to adults and children who have experienced domestic violence, dating violence, or stalking. We have their executive director with us today, Jessica Hill. Welcome.
Thanks very much, Mike.
Very good to see you.
You too.
So as we were kind of talking before, I know we could talk for a long time about everything that happens at the Safe House for Women. In a nutshell, can you kind of tell us what services are found at the Safe House?
Yes. So we have both residential and non-residential services. Most people do think of our shelter as our primary service, where we are providing refuge to people fleeing domestic violence, women and children. And now, thanks to our new larger shelter that opened in June of 2019, we can also shelter men if we need to. And between the last year our old shelter was open and the first year of our new shelter, we more than doubled our residential clients that we were able to serve. So there's a huge need for safe shelter from domestic violence in our community, and thankfully we're being able to meet that need more and more all the time. We also have non-residential services for people who have transitioned successfully out of our shelter or who have left a domestic violence situation but had a safe place to stay. So through our outreach office on Spring Street, we provide services to them. We also have a transitional housing program for people coming out of our shelter. It's a 2-year program where they can go into their own apartment, and we assist them with rent and utilities as they transition into their own permanent, safe, and sustainable housing. And then, of course, we have the Safe House Thrift Store, a treasure in Cape Girardeau. It helps a lot of people with affordable clothing and household items, but it also helps us to support our services for clients.
Well, you have your hands in a whole lot, don't you?
We do, yeah. We are really trying to do everything we can to meet the need. So we provide not only the housing, but also counseling, support groups, case management of all kinds. We help people to find jobs. We help them to get back into school if that's what they want to do, to find childcare for their kids. And then we also do court advocacy. So people who need orders of protection, maybe they're filing for divorce or filing charges against their abuser, and we help them through that process as well.
So I know this seems to be a common theme. We mentioned this with our last guest. With COVID times, has that changed what you have seen as far as who you are helping services and with who?
It really has. So COVID impacted victims of domestic violence more than almost any other group. The combination of the isolation of this being at home in quarantine, along with the pressure of maybe strained finances, having kids learning at home virtually, all those things were stressors for all of us, even those of us in healthy relationships. But in an unhealthy or dangerous relationship, when you add all those factors in, it makes a very dangerous situation. So it was really important to us that we continue to provide all the services that we can during COVID. And so we transitioned very quickly to placing people who needed to leave their situation into hotel placements until we could get them a COVID test, and then we quickly transitioned them into the shelter as soon as we can. But the people who were calling us had waited as long as they could. They had toughed it out, but when they called us, they needed to get out right away, and so it was really important that we be there for them.
You just use that phrase, toughed it out. I would imagine, when you're counseling someone on when it's time to reach out, if they're in the midst of having to tough it out, I mean, it's probably beyond time.
Yes, it is. And, people think about the physical violence that people may be experiencing. Definitely that's a time when safety is of the utmost, and we do want people to reach out to our hotline and get a hold of us so we can help them escape. I will mention that 2 of the most dangerous signs are if an abuser is choking you, or if they threaten you with a weapon like a gun. It's very dangerous, and we want people to reach out as soon as they can. And we do what we call safety planning with people, because it can be a dangerous situation when someone's trying to leave that home that they're in with that abuser. And so we can help them to plan when is the best time to leave, what you need to take with you, arrangements you might need to make for your vehicle, with your work, all those kinds of things. We want to help you with those details so that it's a safe exit. And then, there's also the verbal, emotional, mental abuse. A lot of our clients experience financial abuse where they can't have access to their money, or they're not allowed to work, or they've had their car taken away, or something like that, as a means of controlling them and keeping them in that situation. And we want to help people who've experienced anything like that. As I mentioned, we do, of course, help women. Over 90% of our clients are female because domestic violence is a gender-based issue a lot of the time. However, we also help men. We don't care who your abuser is, if it's an intimate partner, a dating partner, a family member, a roommate, what kind of relationship you might be in, whether it's straight or gay. We're here to help, and we want to make sure that you and your family are safe.
You guys provide tremendous services, and I know that one of the ways you do that is with community support, and a big event for you is Vintage Now.
Yes.
It's become an annual event. I think, the 11th annual?
That's right,
coming
yes.
up October the 9th.
Yes.
So it's going to happen, right?
It is. It's going to happen. We're so grateful to the Show Me Center for all of their work to help us make sure that that's going to happen this year. COVID numbers are going down, which we're all so grateful for so many reasons, but one of them is that it's looking good for our show. Mm-hmm. And so seating arrangements might be a little different, and that kind of thing, but the show is going to go on, and we're very excited. Deb Mavers, who's the founder and director of the show, is working so hard with her team. We have all of our models cast, and we're starting to line up sponsors now, and it's such a huge source of support for the Safe House, and the community turns out so well for it, and we're just really excited to see it come back.
Is it a 20s theme?
It's actually a century, so it's from the 1920s to 2020.
Okay.
So it'll be by the decade, different fashion from each decade this year. It's going to be really exciting.
Fantastic. So before we let you go, someone needs the help of the Safe House. What's the best way to go about getting that?
Right. We have a hotline that's answered every hour of every day. The number is 573-651-1614. Or you can go on our website at semosafehouse.org, or our Facebook page, which is also SEMO Safe House, and reach out to us anyway. We can text you, we can talk to you on the phone, and we can help you make that plan to get somewhere safe.
All right, and again, with Vintage Now, more information can be found where?
Also on our website at semosafehouse.org/Vintage Now, and Vintage Now has their own Facebook page as well, and we'll be posting updates about getting your tickets, signing up to be a sponsor, signing up to be a volunteer, all of those good things.
All right, well, thank you for being here today, and best of luck with Vintage Now.
Thank you, appreciate it very much.
All right, from art to advocacy to adventure. After the break, we'll hear more about how technology can better connect you to outdoor experiences. That's next on Cape Chronicle.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
National forests are essential to life, majestic and grand. They clean our air, supply drinking water to millions of Americans, and provide homes to countless wildlife. They fuel our imaginations and inspire us to think big. Now, our national forests need us. Fires and natural disasters destroy millions of trees each year. That's why we're replanting our forests from coast to coast. Visit arborday.org. See how you can help.
I'm Rudy Tempesta. I'm 92 years old. I fought in World War II. Then I came home, worked for the post office for 70 years. I've been getting Meals on Wheels, and I enjoy it. The most important thing about Meals on Wheels is you meet the people, which to me is fantastic. You need people to keep your brain moving. That's what life is about. It's love and having a conversation with people.
is Cape Chronicle, and I'm Mike Rennick. And just a friendly reminder that while we are not wearing masks, we are following all guidelines to keep our guests and crews safe. Venku wants you to spend less time searching and more time outside doing the things that you love. With us today is founder and CEO Murielle Gaither. Welcome.
Thank you, Mike. I'm happy to be here.
It's so good to see you. I just had this conversation with someone the other day, just talking about being out, getting outside. So tell me how Venku is making that happen.
Absolutely. We are a digital marketplace that helps to connect people with authentic outdoor experiences and adventures. We have national presence. We are in 45 of the 50 states in this country and working on the last 5. So we can be able to say we're in all 50 states, which will be great. But we represent hunting guides and outfitters, fishing guides and outfitters and guide services there, and then private property owners who have camping or hunting and fishing experiences that they'd like to open up to the general public to enjoy.
So, in the world of being able to do a lot of things inside, being out is so healthy for you,
Absolutely.
and going and experiencing nature and those sorts of things. And boy, you guys are making that possible, connecting
Absolutely.
that with the digital world.
Yes, and given recent circumstances with COVID and the pandemic, it's more important now than it ever has been. Interestingly enough, too, our industry saw a huge spike in not only in interest but in participants last year, which has definitely been a boost for us. Last year, more hunting and fishing licenses were sold than in recent history, and we're seeing a huge increase in participation for activities like that. So we're part of the movement. We want to get new folks outdoors. We want to get folks that maybe lost their hunting spot or no longer lease property. We want to get them into the outdoors to be able to enjoy those experiences again, and really overall we are a matchmaker. We're a connector. We see so many incredible experiences out there that nobody knows about. They don't know that they're there, that they're just right there in their backyard. And so part of our mission is to make those experiences more accessible, not only by having information about them online, but making it easy to book them and to talk with the host, get your questions answered. And we do that by having great customer service and customer support, and helping people actually plan trips and figure out exactly what it is that they want to do and establish what their skill level is.
Well, you mentioned some of the trips. So what would be an example of an exciting trip? They want to go fishing or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you what we're really busy with right now are turkey hunts.
No kidding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In several states, the turkey season is actually going to be opening next week and shortly thereafter in many other states. So yes, we're very busy right now with folks. In fact, our phones are ringing off the hook, and email. We're getting so many emails a day from people who are looking for guided and self-guided turkey hunts.
You mentioned the private property owners. So is that a situation kind of similar to like the Airbnb type scenario?
Absolutely.
Where
yes.
they can say you can come on my property and hunt and
Absolutely.
You can connect those.
Yes, that model was actually the inspiration for our company. About 5-6 years ago, my family has a farm property, and when we began to explore the different ways that we could monetize the experiences on that property, we learned that we were going to have to create our own website and market all of the experiences individually. So for us, it was a lot of expense, a lot of headache. We didn't live on our property, and so the whole idea of having to manage that and physically meet people to accept payments and managing a calendar, it was just kind of it was pretty daunting. And so at that point, we realized that there were many other independents out there just like us who, if we could bring them together in a platform setting or a platform format, very much like companies like Airbnb, that we would be more powerful together and again be able to reach the users who are looking for us even more effectively.
So are you a outdoors person?
Yes,
are you motivated by the great adventure?
Yes, and I will tell you, since having kids, That's my main motivation now.
Yeah.
We love spending time outdoors together. I think it's incredibly important, not only for their development, but for their learning and, family time that's spent together. My son was just talking about deer hunting today, and he's got his little backpack with his deer hunting kit, and he's ready for those experiences. So any way that we can nurture and cultivate that, for sure. Love it. I'm all about it.
And I guess these trips are open to a variety of group sizes?
Absolutely. Anywhere from one person to, we have some lodges that can accommodate upwards of 20 or 30 people. So for corporate events, if you're interested in doing something different this year and perhaps keeping social distancing and COVID guidelines in mind, we definitely encourage you to reach out to us and we can help you plan those trips.
And you can serve, obviously, people from our area, but I would imagine that really you have no boundaries as far as people that you could hook into some of these trips.
Not at all. In fact, we work with a lot of folks who have a bucket list, and they're just checking off different types of packages and trips off of that list. And so we work with them to establish what they're looking for, establish budget, establish what location they'd like to be in, and then the rest is just magic. It's wonderful.
So tell us, as we wrap up, tell us how to find you. If someone wants to, I want to get in the great outdoors, the best way to find you.
Absolutely. Our website is venku.com, and that's venku.com. You can also find us on social media platforms, on Facebook, or just type in Google, Venku Outdoors, and you'll find us.
Fantastic. Murielle, thank you so much. So
Thank
exciting.
you.
And
Thank you.
we'll hopefully hear some stories of some great adventures down the line. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. And thank you to all of our guests and all of you for joining us today for Cape Chronicle. The program is a collaboration among the Department of Mass Media at Southeast Missouri State University and the City of Cape Girardeau and River Radio. Our producer is Nicolette Brennan, and our executive producer is Dr. Jim DUFEK. I'm your host, Mike Rennick. Thank you for watching.